Let's take a look at how to use the replicate function that's available in Microsoft SQL Server. The replicate function is a function that repeats a string a specified number of times. Now this function takes two inputs and both are required. You'd first need to provide the string, then you'll need to provide the number of times this string should be replicated. Let's take a look at this in practice to get a better understanding as to how this will actually work. So here we have an example of the replicate function. The string that we're looking to replicate will be learning SQL is amazing. And we are attempting to replicate this string 4 times. So what we'll be doing is first providing the replicate keyword, then in brackets the string and the number of times we want it to be repeated, in this case 4. So we're going to execute. Now as we're seeing on the screen, we have the result here where learning SQL is amazing has been replicated. I'm going to expand the column and we're seeing where it's replicated 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the replication happens right alongside each other. So if you notice, there's no space between each string. Now if we wanted to add a space, we'll have to put a space in the string and then re-execute. And now we're seeing where there is a space between each string that has been replicated. Now we are able to utilize this function on a particular column in a table. So let us take a look at the vehicle table to see the records that are there, to see how we can utilize replicate function. Alright, so in this table we have 8 records that has 4 columns. We'll be utilizing the replicate function on the model column. So we'll be attempting to replicate the model twice. So we're going to write out that statement. We'll start off by providing our select keyword. Then we'll be listing out the columns that we want to have returned. So in this case, we'll start off with the make. I'm going to place the model before using the replicate function for reference. Then I'll utilize the replicate function and place in bracket the column that we want to have replicated, in this case model, and the number of times we want the item to be replicated. In this case we want to replicate 2 times, and we'll give this column an alias by using the as keyword and providing it with a name for that column. So we'll say new model. Then we'll provide the rest of the columns that we want to have shown. In this case, I'll utilize both columns. I'll refer for the color and the cost. Then you'll need to provide the table in which we're getting the data from. So that would be the vehicle table. And now we're going to execute. So upon execution, we should have 5 tables returned, where we have a newly created table. 5 columns returned, where we're going to have a newly created column that will be named new model, and it will contain the model being replicated twice. So we're going to execute, and as we can see, that new column has been created and the value that was present in the model column has now been replicated twice. So our key takeaways: the replicate function is a function that requires 2 input parameters. You'll need to provide the string and the number of times you'd want the item to be replicated. So if we were to change the value from 2 to 4 and re-execute, we should see the model being referenced 4 times in this new column.